tired eyes, sleep for a little while. Just put your guitar down, down and it's okay. Play it safe. Your mistakes, let them all go. Your broken dreams, your high hopes, love so delicate. Life is sometimes strange. Sometimes it takes a big rain to feel the sun again.
Most normal people would want to take vacations and go somewhere south and sit on the beach and drink pina coladas. That's what normal people do. For us, for some strange reason, myself and my group of friends, we like to put ourselves out in the woods where we're surrounded by flies, we're swarms of flies, swatting flies. You got to put bug dope on all the time. We got to spend our spare time in a bug shelter. Stay out in cold, wet, and scared. That's a lot of times that's what paddling is. It's cold, wet, and scared. And for some reason, we keep doing it year after year. We've done, as a group, we've done trips. We went to northern Labrador where we had to take precautions like putting up an electric bear fence to keep you from getting attacked by polar bears in the night while you're sleeping. We've done big river trips in some of the rivers in Labrador. We paddled the entire south coast of Newfoundland, the island of Newfoundland in a sea kayak, probably one of the most dangerous stretches of coast that I've ever seen. These trips for us are about building memories, and we built a lot of absolutely phenomenal memories. And that's the thing that drives us to continue to do these types of trips, right? So the Terra Nova, hopefully, is going to go down as one of our most memorable trips. So the Terra Nova River it's a fairly long river, and there's a couple of big ponds in the middle of it. And a lot of people go out and paddle on those ponds and paddle the upper section and paddle a lower section, which is called the runes. But there's a section that is basically bookended by two major obstructions. So there's a waterfall called Big Falls, and then there's another obstruction, which is the canyon, down at closer to the mouth of the river. I did the Terra Nova, that section of the Terra Nova, in whitewater kayak for the first time a couple of years back. And as I was going through, I was thinking to myself, my God, this would be an absolute phenomenal river to try in a tandem canoe. And the challenge of paddling that stretch of the Terra Nova in a tandem canoe with loaded boats, paddling rapids that are at the upper limit of what is paddleable in a tandem canoe is a challenge. And anybody who's involved in running rapids in canoes or whitewater kayaks, you do it for the challenge.
I have never canoed the lower Terra Nova River. I've only been in a kayak, so it's hard for me to speak of it there. In that sort of part of the research, I also run into an old friend, Bill Ritchie, who had gone down the Terra Nova with one of his really nice old town canoes, and it was completely written off. Bill kind of let me know where he lost his canoe, and I actually brought back probably a couple square feet of Rolex that was green that was up in the trees. So I found that for him and said, well, here's part of your canoe. So it never really made it.
I think the crux of the trip for me will be making it through a rapid called Stewart Staircase. It's a short rapid, big waves, sweeping turn, and a couple of technical aspects that will definitely challenge the group. The water levels as they stand right now are probably close to 50% higher than we had hoped for. So we're definitely pushing our levels. Very fun level in a short kayak, but in big canoe, we'll have some work cut out for us for sure.
No, well, Jim Price was the first guy I knew that ran the Terra Nova. When he was running it, I call it old school. They would have had no dry suits, no wetsuits. He had an old felt hat with a feather hanging off the back of it, and the old Voyageur, and I'm going down there. But he was one of the first that had like an old town, the Rolex canoes, which gave him that buffer of being able to hit rocks, like as opposed to where I was at that time, had a chestnut, a canvas, wood canvas that you had to baby.
So just over 3 years ago, Jim passed away. A very big shock to the paddling community in the province. Completely unexpected, and pretty emotional to even talk about, actually.
How you doing, Richard?
That's good, boy. That's good. You see the water coming up over that waterfall?
No.
You know what we should have done, right? We should have had the discussion about whether or not this was a good idea, or we should have bailed before we did the portage. Because I'm not going back over that there. I'm not carrying boat canoe and everything going back over that.
No.
But we should have had that conversation before we got into it. But we're committed now.
So once we got to Undercut, we knew it was a pretty chunky, technical river feature, but we totally underestimated it. We seen Richard and Darren go through, and they had a clean line. We knew it was tight, but it was an unexpected thing. We were probably a little too cavalier about it. We went down what we thought would be a similar line. We tried to improve on what we seen, in terms of their line, where we needed to be a little river right versus where they went in. That didn't work out for us. It really didn't, and truthfully, it just completely killed, or it was completely unexpected. The thing about the Terra Nova is that what we discovered, at least at those water levels, was there were just unexpected surprises. There were actual technical rapids interspersed between, the quote-unquote, the true big river features that we were worried about. It was like, wow, that was a surprise. It was, sometimes we got caught just floating down and on, not anticipating how chunky they really look.
Right knee down, there you go. hand. Hand, do it. All right. I saved us.
What?
I saved us 3 times with a low brace.
I did one earlier, I saved it too. Excellent. Perfect. All right.
Wow.
Okay, there we go. Oh, no. Yeah, we're pretty slow to react here now, aren't we?
Yeah. Boat's not moving at all.
Okay, let's just swing our gate. Straight down this tongue here. There we go.
How are we?
We're good. Keep it going. We're good. Little right. Left. There you go.
We're full.
You got
Oh,
it.
shit.
I can tell.
I was drawing everything I had. She wasn't even moving.
Yeah, it's 11:02, and it's a rainy Tuesday morning, and we're on the Terra Nova River
Why are we on the water?
because it's raining and it's windy, and the reality of it is we don't have a big distance to do today. We're relaxing, and we're enjoying our time out, enjoying a good breakfast, and we just decided yesterday that we're going to take our time this morning, so...
We'd still make it out tomorrow, like, you know what I mean?
Of course, you should go back to the history. How did all these names get in there, right? So we were just throwing names at people because they were the ones that were on the trip, you know, like, we'll name this one after you. It's usually the people who messed up the best on a rapid. It ended up getting named after them. So Jim's drop, Jim's done some good mess up in there, and it's a complex, it's not really hard, but it's kind of, I'll call it technical. So I like that kind of technicality to a river where it's not just sit in and go Yahoo and watch and go through wave trains. This one, you definitely, in the middle of the rapids, need to make decisions on where you're going left or right of different rocks or features.
Guys, 2 observations. The hole is a little bit deeper than it looks from over here, and you have more room off that rock than it looks from over here. So here we are at Jim's drop. First rapid for the day, day 2. Water levels came up overnight and early this morning, some heavy rain. So we're doing some good scouting. This is one of the crux rapids of our trip, and one of the more exciting rapids for the day. No.
We hit the drop a little meatier than you guys. We're a little left.
Yeah.
So it seemed like, we just kind of plowed into it a little harder.
That was an awesome run though, all the same.
I would say I ran the Terra Nova River for 6 years before I had the nerve to go over Center River Drop, and that was only after many people had gone over it.
Rock, you gotta have that slight angle.
Slight, probably a 10-degree left to right angle coming down. You're going to bury the bow at the bottom. You're definitely going to bury the bow. Go left. 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 Left.
That looks good there.
Right now, I think the water's just way too high. It's been pretty high, and we've had some pretty constant rain this evening, which is only going to add to the water levels. So, there's always that challenge of, go or no go, depending on the flow.
How's your boat performing?
My boat? Well, my boat's performing well, I think. It's standing up to what it's supposed to do in terms of its design and its hull structure. It looks like it's taken quite a beat, today. And I think that was actually at Center River Tongue. It looked like it sort of hit a rock at the bottom of that tongue, and but you know what? That's what they're designed to do. There's no puncture hole. It took that hard hit and just a little dent. I haven't seen it yet.
So me and Darren don't have to pay for your boat?
Well, there's no hole in it, no. But
So me and Darren don't have to pay for your boat?
no, you and Darren don't have to pay for the boat.
It's us,
Jim Price would be in heaven right now thinking about this trip. On this trip, or even knowing that we're on this trip, would make Jim smile. If Jim thought about the levels of the river right now, he would have a big smirk on his face. Especially if he was bringing people down here for the first time, because he knows that the levels are high, they're a little chunky, but they also provide a big fun factor if you're willing to take the chance.
Tomorrow, not first time on the river, and understanding that Stewart's staircase is the crux move, so there's definitely an amount of anticipation towards that. But at the same time, with the way that the group's been responding to the river, reacting, dealing with the higher water levels, still unsure if we're actually going to run it, but feeling pretty confident with the group, and will be a challenge, but we'll see. It's definitely going to be the crux.
Things are getting bad here.
As we look through seasons that have come and gone, and you wonder how we remember this time.
Stuart's Staircase, named after Stuart Gillis. And Stuart was, he comes from Scotland. He was a competitive slalom racer. This was a really neat little drop that had different water levels, has things coming in. We called it accelerators. We got things that go, if you go left and come back in other ways. So it's a complex drop if you want to make it that way. And it got named after Stuart. And there's one where it gets pushed up on the water at the bottom, where that's if you're going to go for a swim. That's usually where a lot of people go for a swim.
I think the water is pushy, but the crux here is boat angle. So you want to hit this turn on the right angle. If not, if you blow your angle, it's probably a good chance you're going up against that rock. But at the water, at the level it's running, it's going to be a challenge with the loaded boats. But I think it's doable.
You got the rope? There's a paddle gun! There's a paddle gun! Paddle gun. Okay. Shit!
tried to do something a little bit different than you guys. We tried to contain our speed, slow it down a bit, and try to stick to the right side. But as soon as we got down into the tongue, where that other little tongue drops in, we just got pushed left.
Yeah.
And as soon as we got pushed left, we had this big circular little rooster tail wave, and it just fucking lifted the bow right up and had nothing, and then boom, gone. And yeah, it was a nice little swim.
Even with decent speed, right angle, it's just, there's no, you can't avoid that that hole which then pushes you along.
Empty boat.
In an empty boat, maybe, but not with this.
My face getting burnt.
Disappointed we didn't make it, but
I'd like to have it back, but empty boats maybe, but I'm beat out from swimming.
I'm not convinced that we can do it in full boats.
No, I'm not either, actually.
I think it can be done, but it's not going to be, it wouldn't be, not going to be your easy run. Now we just get to
empty boats and redeem ourselves.
Excellent, sounds good.
The Stewart staircase is in the books. Now we're moving on. We have a couple of boogie rapids, some nice kind of class 3 wave trains to our final named rapid before the canyon. And we'll do a nice little sneak route around river left on Mark's drop. Should be a nice little easy kind of sneak route, almost like a little mini Stewart staircase.
Mark's drop was stolen by Mark Dykman. Yeah, it's a funny little story. Is that Jim? We would think about this river like this was. It's particularly Jim Price. He memorized rivers. I don't have them well memorized, but we would go. And he said, you know that drop that we always walked around. Because we said to Jim, he says, I've been thinking about that. And I think if we ran that a little to the left, punched through the little hole, because we were always nervous that you'd get sucked back into the Mark's drop, right? Which is now called Mark's Drop, but it had no name then. And Jim kept saying, yeah, okay, I want to do it. He says, this year when we go down, he says, I'm not walking that, I'm going to run it. And for whatever reason, I think Jim couldn't make the first run. And so I got out of my boat and I did I'm going to take a look at it. And so I ran it. So I was the first to run it. I ran it fairly clean. So it ended up, I stole it and gave it my name.
Have you ever met Miss Lindy? She's a gal with the bright red hair. Now she stands out from all where she's going. Where she's mine. Yeah, she's mine. Well, I love that little girl. Well, Miss Lindy. Why, Miss Lindy? Well, I love that little girl. Have you ever seen Miss Lindy? She likes to dance all day, and when she does cry,
They're upside down!
Where's your mind? Where's your mind? When I look at little girl, she's so fine. Where Miss Lindy? Oh, Miss Lindy. When I look at little girl,
We gotta get going!
Tell me what happened to you at Mark's Drop, you and Jeff going into Mark's Drop.
I have no fucking idea. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to cut.
What happened, Mark?
Sitting on my backpack in my bags, hoping that someone calls me back. Planning my next trip on a map below and traveling round the world. And I would wish that someone asked me to stay, because I'm getting tired of walking away. My only destination is hope, and I'm missing home. And left the adventures that I have. I'd just like to have a place to come back, a warm house of friends to tell them my stories.
It's a real good trip. We had went from cold and wet to hot and dry pretty quick. All in all, it was a great trip. It's sad that it's going to be ending here shortly. I think it's calling my name to come back again.
As expected, the Terra Nova was a challenge that we thought it might be. Definitely worth doing the trip. We had little bits of carnage today, but blue skies, nice water, fun group, fun times.
Fun all around. Do it again. We hit the bridge. We'll just go back to the start and try it again. What do you think, guys?
Score, Mike.
bug jacket.
Yeah, buy a bug jacket at the store. Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, half the gear, yeah.
And a case of beer. So a case of beer or half the gear?
Both.
Home and tell our friends the stories of our journey. Please come with me. And I love the adventures that I have. Love the adventures that I have. Like to have a place to. I just like to have a place to come back. A warm house of friends to tell them. Let me tell them my story. I'd really like someone to call me back now. Yes, I'd really like someone to call me back now. Next time I pack I'm packing my bag. And I love the adventures that I have. I just like someone to hold my hand. Next time I pack my bag.